The headlights cut through the pitch-black Florida woods. A body lies slumped beside an abandoned highway, half hidden in the grass. A single gunshot wound. The smell of gasoline and swamp water lingers in the night air. Whoever left him there made no attempt to hide it. Whoever killed him wanted the world to see. Police flood the scene. Radios crackle. Officers whisper one word, execution. But this wasn't the first. And it wouldn't be the last. Her name? Aileen Wuornos. A name that would soon be splashed across every newspaper in America. To the world, she became the first female serial killer. A predator who stalked highways, lured men in, and left their bodies in ditches. But the truth isn't that simple. Because Aileen wasn't born a killer. She was born a child, abandoned, abused, broken before she ever had a chance to live. And that's where the story really begins.
Welcome to the Crime Ledger, where every page reveals a mystery.
Before we dive in, write in the comment section where you are watching from, and if you are a true crime lover, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon, so you will never miss the next true crime stories.
Aileen was born in 1956 in Michigan. Her father, already in prison for child molestation, hung himself when she was just a baby. Her mother abandoned her at 6 months old. She never knew safety, never knew love. Raised by alcoholic grandparents, she was beaten, ridiculed, and by the time she was 11, she was trading sexual favors for food and cigarettes. By 14, she was pregnant, raped by a family member, and her baby was taken away. At 15, she was thrown out of the house, left to survive in the freezing woods of Michigan. She became a drifter. A teenager with nowhere to go. Hitchhiking. Hustling. Surviving any way she could. Every scar she carried, every night she slept under bridges or in abandoned cars, carved a deeper wound inside her. But here's the question that haunts this story. Was she destined to become a monster, or was she made into one by the world? Fast forward. Florida's highways in the 1980s were dangerous, sun-baked strips of asphalt stretching through desolate swamp. Truckers, drifters, tourists, and predators all shared the road. Aileen had settled into a life of prostitution. She worked truck stops, highways, back roads. Her clients were lonely men looking for company. She lived out of motels, drank heavily, and moved constantly. But something inside her was boiling over. Years of rage. Years of betrayal. Years of abuse at the hands of men. Then, in late 1989, it happened. The first man never made it home. Richard Mallory, 51. An electronics shop owner. On November 30, 1989, he picked up a blonde hitchhiker on the side of the road. Aileen Wuornos. 2 days later, hunters found his body. He had been shot several times, wrapped in an old carpet, dumped in the woods. His car was abandoned miles away. The police thought it was random. A robbery gone wrong. Florida was full of unsolved murders. But this was just the beginning. June 1990, David Spears, 43, found nude along Route 19. 6 bullets in his chest. May 1990, Charles Carskadden, 40, shot 9 times and left on the roadside. July 1990, Troy Burress, 50, a sausage salesman, vanished on a delivery run. His body turned up weeks later, riddled with bullets. November 1990, Walter Antonio, 62, discovered in Dixie County. 4 shots. 7 men in total. All killed within a year. Each murder colder. Each scene more brutal. Florida law enforcement realized something chilling. This wasn't coincidence. This was a pattern. A serial killer was on the loose. But here's the catch. Every time Aileen was asked, she said the same thing. They tried to rape me. I had no choice. It was self-defense. Were these men truly predators who picked the wrong woman? Or was this her cover story, her way of justifying executions? No one could prove it. No one could disprove it. The truth was tangled in her rage, her trauma, and her lies. Police from multiple counties came together. They had bullets, bodies, and abandoned cars. But no suspect. No witnesses. Nothing but a vague description, a rough-looking blonde with a companion, another woman, always at her side. That woman was Tyria Moore, Aileen's lover. And she would soon become the key to bringing Aileen down. December 1990. Police set up a massive manhunt. Bars, truck stops, motels, they searched everywhere for the mysterious blonde. Finally, they got a break. A fingerprint lifted from a stolen car. It matched a name already in the system, Aileen Wuornos. The hunt had a face. The monster had a name. But when police closed in, what they uncovered was darker, messier, and far more tragic than anyone expected. By late 1990, panic spread across Florida's highways. 7 men, different ages, different backgrounds, all shot, all left like discarded trash. The killer left few clues. But there was one constant: the men's cars always turned up abandoned. And inside? Cigarette butts. Beer cans. Half-eaten food. Police processed every trace. Finally, they struck gold. A fingerprint on a receipt matched a name they knew all too well, Aileen Wuornos, a drifter with a rap sheet for theft, armed robbery, and prostitution. Now, they had a suspect. But how do you catch a woman who lives everywhere and nowhere at once? Investigators pieced together Aileen's last known movements. Witnesses described her as a scrappy, volatile blonde, often seen with another woman, quiet, nervous, almost invisible. Her name was Tyria Moore. She wasn't just a companion. She was Aileen's anchor. The only person Aileen ever truly loved. Together, they drifted from bar to bar, motel to motel, hustling for money. They were inseparable. And police knew, if they could find Tyria, they could find Aileen. January 1991. Police staged an undercover operation at a biker bar in Daytona Beach. Word was, Aileen was still drinking there, broke and desperate. For days, officers blended in, playing pool, sipping beer, waiting. Then, one night, she walked in. She was loud. Belligerent. Already drunk. No disguise. No attempt to hide. The infamous highway killer was sitting in plain sight. But the arrest wasn't the E. The real challenge was proving she pulled the trigger 7 times over. That's where Tyria came in. Police tracked Tyria down in Pennsylvania. Terrified, she agreed to cooperate. Her mission: call Aileen. Pretend nothing had changed. Pretend she still loved her. And secretly get her to confess. The phone calls were chilling. Tyria's voice trembled as she begged. "They're gonna pin this all on me, Lee. Tell me what really happened. Tell me so I can be safe." On the other end of the line, Aileen cracked. She promised Tyria she would protect her, take the blame, admit to everything. And just like that, the trap was sprung. When detectives sat her down, Aileen didn't flinch. She leaned back in her chair, eyes blazing, and spat out the words. "Yeah, I killed M. Every one of M. But it was self-defense." She painted herself as the victim. Every man, she said, had tried to rape her. Every bullet was survival. Detectives leaned in, skeptical. Was this a battered woman striking back at years of abuse? Or was she twisting the story to mask cold-blooded murder? The line between truth and lie blurred with every word she spoke. News spread like wildfire. A female serial killer. America was obsessed. Reporters called her the damsel of death. Documentaries were pitched before the trial even began. Aileen became both spectacle and sideshow. But behind the cameras, she sat in a cell, chain-smoking, pacing, replaying every betrayal in her head. Especially Tyria's. The one person she trusted had become the one who sealed her fate. February 1992. Courtroom packed. Cameras rolling. The jury filed in as Aileen Wuornos rose to her feet. The world leaned in to hear her defense. Would she convince them she was a woman forced to kill in self-defense? Or would they see her as a monster who hunted men for sport? The gavel dropped. The trial of the century had begun. The courtroom in Daytona Beach was electric. Reporters packed every bench, their pens scratching furiously, cameras flashing every time Aileen so much as twitched. The prosecution painted her as a cold-blooded predator. The defense? A broken woman who had killed only to save herself. But this wasn't just a trial. It was a spectacle. The state laid out its case with ruthless precision. Ballistics matched the bullets in multiple victims to Aileen's gun. Stolen items from victims, cameras, watches, even cars, were tied back to her. And then came the damning detail: every man was shot multiple times. Not just once in panic, but repeatedly. The prosecution argued, this wasn't self-defense. This was execution. Then came the ultimate betrayal. Aileen's lover, Tyria Moore, took the stand. Jurors leaned in as Tyria, voice shaking, recounted the phone calls where Aileen admitted to the murders. She claimed she was terrified of Aileen, convinced she'd be dragged down too. For Aileen, it was a knife to the heart. The one person she thought would stand by her had turned state witness. In that moment, her mask slipped. Throughout the trial, Aileen's temper boiled over. She yelled at jurors. She cursed at prosecutors. She pointed fingers at reporters. In one infamous outburst, she screamed, "I was raped. I was fighting for my life. They deserved it." The courtroom gasped. Cameras flashed. The monster image hardened. But behind the rage, there were glimpses of something else: pain, fear, abandonment. Was she confessing the truth, or just lashing out to survive? January 27, 1992. After just 2 hours of deliberation, the jury returned. Guilty. First-degree murder. And that was just the beginning. Trial after trial followed for the other victims. Each time, the result was the same. By the end, Aileen Wuornos faced 6 death sentences. One for nearly every man she had killed. America was split. Some saw her as pure evil, a highway predator who deserved the chair. Others saw her as a product of neglect, abuse, and a victim of men, of the system, of life itself. But the law had made its choice. Aileen Wuornos would die by lethal injection. Locked away on death row, Aileen grew more erratic. Her interviews swung from calm confessions to furious rants. One day, she insisted she killed in cold blood. The next, she swore it was self-defense. Then she claimed police let her keep killing to make money off her eventual story. Her words became more paranoid, more chaotic, more unsettling. The line between truth and madness blurred. By 2002, after more than a decade on death row, Aileen made a chilling decision. She fired her attorneys. She dropped all appeals. She demanded to be executed. In her final statement to the court, she spat out, "I killed those men. I robbed them as cold as ice. I'd do it again." But why the sudden turn? Had she finally embraced the monster label? Or was she still hiding a truth no one wanted to hear? The answer would come on October 9, 2002, the day Aileen Wuornos faced the needle. As the chemicals surged through her body, Aileen's eyes stayed fixed on the ceiling. She didn't cry. She didn't plead. She simply stared forward, almost defiant, as if daring the world to look away. Her chest rose once. Twice. Then stilled. Outside the chamber, reporters rushed to broadcast the moment. Inside, a heavy silence lingered. The damsel of death was gone. In the days that followed, the debate reignited. Some hailed her death as justice for the 7 men whose lives were brutally cut short. Their families finally had closure. Others mourned, not for the men, but for the little girl who never had a chance, the child abandoned, beaten, and left to rot by the very people who should have protected her. Aileen Wuornos became a mirror. To some, she reflected society's fear of women who kill. To others, she reflected the damage society does to its most vulnerable. Her story has since been twisted into books, movies, and documentaries. She became a cultural figure, half monster, half martyr. But strip away the headlines, and what remains is unsettlingly simple. A woman. A child who grew up unloved, unwanted. A drifter who found no safe place in the world. A killer who believed every bullet was survival. Was she telling the truth? Or was it all a story she convinced herself to believe? No one will ever know. 2 decades later, her words still echo. I'll be back. Did she mean vengeance? Did she mean redemption? Or was it just the last illusion of a life unraveling? Whatever the answer, one fact remains. Aileen Wuornos will never be neatly filed away as only victim or only monster. She was both. And that's what makes her story so terrifying. Thanks for watching. Like, share and subscribe for more gripping true crime story told like never before.